Welcome to Make and Take Generic File Folder Music Therapy Games, a course offered under the course umbrella of composition and creativity and offered to you by musictherapyworks.com. My name is Mary Jane Landacre and I am the instructor for this course, and am really pleased that you decided to try something creative and something that you can then take and use with a variety of clientele. I hope that after this 50-minute session that you'll have some ideas about what kinds of things you can do and how you can incorporate games into your music therapy session. So as you know, each one of these course modules requires a demonstration element as part of the learner objectives. And these demonstration elements are designed to be incorporated into the coursework itself and to be something that you can use to demonstrate understanding and awareness of our topic. So for this particular course module, Make and Take Generic File Folder Games, you have two demonstration elements. The first is that you will complete at least one generic game board to engage a client into a music therapy intervention. And you're going to send that to me you're going to send me a picture of that or a scan of that at the end of this course module as part one of your demonstration element. Part two of your demonstration element is that you're going to develop game strategies for 3 music therapy treatment domains using this generic game board created during the course. And again, you will send that to me so that way I can see that you've integrated all of the different pieces of this course. That can be sent to me via email, and you can certainly send me the picture via email as well. And once I receive those things, I will send you a link to the course evaluation so you can complete the course evaluation. Once you have completed all of your course modules underneath your particular umbrella grouping, then you will have the opportunity, I will send you the course evaluation for the entire course, and then after that I will send you your certificate. So now it's time to gather your materials, and I find that when I'm working on a project such as this one, it works out best if I get all of my materials at the same time, so that way I don't have to stop and look for something. The first thing that you're going to need is a file folder, any size, any color. I'm going to be using some relatively weirdly designed file folders here for this one for a couple of reasons. First of all, these offer really good contrast on the inside, so you'll be able to see what I'm doing. But secondly, these do not fall into any of my color coding organization systems. And so what that does for me is that I can look for these, pull them out quickly, and know that they are generic game boards as opposed to red ones which are motor focused or yellow ones which are academic cognitive focused. It does not matter what kind of file folder you use, so feel free to use the regular manila ones that you've got. The only consideration that you need is you need something that's going to be able to be easily laminated. The other things that you're going to need are things that you probably have on hand. You need a pair of scissors. You need some markers so you can label things. You need to decide for yourself whether or not you would like to use double-sided tape or a glue stick. And it doesn't matter which one you use. They both have benefits. They both have detractions. If you use double-sided tape, that's tape that's sticky on both sides, then that allows for a little bit more forgiving if you want to rearrange things after you put them onto the file folder. But it also means that when you're laminating 3 layers instead of 2 layers because the tape adds another layer. So you end up with small rectangles which show where the tape is. If you don't like that, then don't use double-sided tape. If you've got clients who will obsess on that, don't use double-sided tape. Glue stick, on the other hand, is it lays everything flat, makes everything all the same, just 2 layers instead of 3, but it is also more unforgiving. So if you're like me and you change your mind often, glue stick may not be the way to go. You also need to have 2 pieces of copyweight paper, and this is if you're going to use the generic template or if you want to have some sort of path that you're going to put onto yours. You also need to have cardstock paper for your cards, for your dice, or for your spinner. And the basic rule of thumb between paper is you use copyweight paper for anything you're going to attach to the file folder, And you're going to use cardstock paper for anything that you're going to use with your hands, anything you're going to move around. excuse me. You can tell the difference between the two by touching, but since you're not there, you can also tell the difference between this sound. Here's what copy paper sounds like. Here's what cardstock sounds like. There's a difference in how much weight is there. Again, any color for either of those is fine. And then you want to have laminating materials, and you'll want to laminate things before you use them with clients, because you want to make sure that they have the opportunity to last longer than just one game. Laminating materials, just a quick note, I use laminating pouches, and I have found that I can laminate almost all of a file folder if I use the 12 by 18 inch, what's called menu laminating pouches. And those menu laminating pouches offer me an opportunity to have the entire file folder covered if I cut off about a ½ inch off of one of the edges. And so when I do that, I can cover the entire thing. So you also have the opportunity to use optional materials, things that will just make your generic game board look a little bit snazzier. You can use stickers, different colors, different shapes, different sizes. I prefer for a generic game board to use the just generic stickers, but you can also use decorative stickers of a variety of types. I've got rocket ship stickers, I've got children around the world stickers. The only problem with using these stickers is that then my generic game board is no longer generic. It has a theme. It has rocket ships, or it has children around the world. And so you might just think about that when you're using different stickers. A variety of markers and colored pencils are things that you could use now just to add a little color and a little interest. Different rulers are helpful. Fancier papers, rather than just the regular typing paper, using something with a border or something with a background. A corner rounder is a tool that is very helpful for making sharp corners round. I like these, so I use my corner rounder all the time. Velcro, you might need it if you're going to be using your dice, or if you want to have a place where you can put materials onto the file folder itself. Velcro, library pockets or envelopes to help store pieces. Library pockets are just a variety, just a pocket like you would find in a library book, or the way you used to find them in library books. They come in a wide variety of styles and colors. I also have something that I didn't put on the PowerPoint. I have a bunch of small pre-prepared cards which I use all the time, and I bought these at a teacher store. And I've got different colors, and they are all the same size. They are perfect for game cards. And so I use those pretty much all the time. It saves me a lot of cutting when I use those. Also, there's a game board template available on the website that I recommend that you download if you want to use the game board template rather than make your own game board. It's up to you what you do for your presentation. So now we're going to put together a file folder activity, and I'm going to demonstrate two different ways to put these together. The first is using the board game template available on the website, and the second is using some stickers that I just purchased today for use with this game. So I'm going to start off here with my one file folder. I'm going to open it up, and for this file folder game, like I said, I'm using these board templates. And I'm going to make sure that they are put the same exact way. And then I'm going to cut around them. And the reason I'm cutting around them is that I want to have a good difference, a clear definition between what is game board and what is not game board. And this is primarily because my students sometimes have visual acuity issues. And if there is a significant difference between the game board and the path that they're supposed to take to play the game, they are often more successful at completing the game appropriately. So I now have two different pieces of the game. And you'll notice that up here at the top there is an arrow, and that helps to indicate, all of these little arrows here help to indicate which direction clients are going to go. So I'm going to turn around my folder here, and I'm going to trim up a little bit here because it's driving me crazy, and If I notice it, my clients will definitely notice it. And I am going to arrange these on the file folder the way that makes most sense to me logically. Okay. I'm going to give a little bit of space, the top and the bottom. And like I said, I use double stick tape, so I'm going to take a piece of double stick tape, put it here, and a piece of double stick tape, put it there, and affix this to the file folder. Now I don't have to tape all over the place because I'm going to be laminating this into all one big piece, so it does not have to be secured everywhere, which is a nice thing to remember. If you're just tacking it, then it's fine. Okay, so I have there's my file folder activity already done and ready to go. Now I'm going to do a couple of things with it just to make it a little bit more able to be used. I'm going to put start down here, and I'm going to put finish down here at the end. And I'm using silver just because I like it. Doesn't have anything to do with anything other than the fact that I like it. And I'm going to put a big arrow that goes across from this middle board to the next space, so that way my clients have an ability to see where they're going to head to next. And there, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to label the board, game board, and I always put a date, 2017. Okay, so there's the first example of a generic game board. Easy, right? I mean, not much to it at all. I'm done with that until laminating and making my decisions of what's going to go on. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to make another generic game board using stickers. Now, one of the things about this generic game board is that there are lots and lots of spaces here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 28 spaces. And I have some clients who just do not have the attention span for 28 spaces. And so because of that, I am going to make a game board that is a little bit quicker. And I'm going to use this one. And I found some labels at Office Depot, which I really liked because of the color coding, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start and just randomly affix these stickers here. I'm going to use the black ones for start and for finish. And instead of doing 28, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to do the big ones on this sticker sheet here. And see how I'm keeping these other pieces blank? That's purposeful. I want them blank because once I laminate them, I want to be able to use them for excuse me, a variety of games. And so I'm not going to put anything on these before I laminate. I'm going to laminate it as is, and then if I decide to put other pieces on or other directions on, I can do that with the with dry erase markers or wet erase markers in order to personalize the game a little bit more. So I'm using the same order that I had before, that I established here. I am just going to finish off this and put down finish on my black square. And then I'm going to put my arrows indicating where my students go from each space. It's probably hard to see. Curse of the lefty. So each square gets its own arrow pointing to the next square, or the next shape, I guess. It's not really a square. And there, now I have a game board that is simpler. There are less things that you have to do, but it's still very much a generic game board. There you go. And so I'm going to name this one again, Game 2017, and date. And the reason I date them is to keep track of what's going on when. And there, 2 game boards finished. Quick, easy, to the point. But now what we have to do is figure out how we are going to use these as therapeutic music experiences. So once you have your game boards finished, it's now time to come up with ideas on how to use these with your specific clients, which I think is one of the most important aspects of being a music therapist, is learning how to shape the experience that you have around the clients that you have. And so to do this, I downloaded the template available on the website entitled Brainstorming Templates, and this is going to give me a place to write down some of my ideas. This is the format, or the form that you can use to finish your demonstration element if you would like to. It just seems to be pretty easy. It's in Word X, .x format. If that doesn't work for you, let me know and I can send you an additional format. So in order to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to do some brainstorming. The first thing that you're going to do is think of 3 clients who might enjoy the game, a game, playing a game in music therapy. Because we always start with our clients when we're framing our gameplay and our game rules. And then you're going to start to think about how you can shape that game to engage the clients. And the first thing that you're going to think about is with these 3 clients, and if it's easier to start with one, start with one. We've got plenty of brainstorming time here in a little bit. Why is the client in music therapy treatment to begin with? What is their primary treatment goal? Are they there to work on motor issues? Are they there to work on cognitive academic issues, speech communication issues, emotional behavioral issues? What is the core reason why they are in music therapy treatment? And then write that down. And then also brainstorm a little bit about what you're already doing with the client to reach this goal. And do that for each of the 3 clients that you have in mind. So once you have the idea of what the primary treatment goal is that you're going to be addressing with these clients, think about the client a little bit more. How do they do in the following areas? Are they able to manipulate a spinner or a dice or cards? How about a marker? What kind of thing are they going to move around the board? Is this something that they're going to need additional help with? Is this something that you can arrange for them to have success with? Can your client interpret symbols such as letters, numbers, colors? If the answer is yes, great. If the answer is no, that's something to keep in mind. And does the client have the attention to complete a long game board? As you saw, I made a shorter game board as opposed to the longer game board here. And that's because some of my clients just don't have the attention span to do a 28-piece game board. But they can certainly do something that is 12 pieces. Also, you're going to start making some choices about the game. You need to decide how players will move around the board. And if you think of the games that you've played, there's a couple of different ways. They can choose a card, which tells them where to go. For example, you draw a card and it says move forward 2 spaces. You can roll a die or spin a spinner, which will indicate the next square. So you can do that through number, color matching, or letter matching. So they spin the spinner, it lands on 3, they go to the next 3, or they move forward 3 spaces, depending on their number concepts. Or you spin a spinner, it goes to red, they move to the next red. And then the other thing that you need to do is how will the players know what to do when they get to a space? Are they going to complete a task? How are they going to know what task that is? So for some games, you could set it up where when a person gets to any space, they are going to play an instrument the number of times indicated on the space. Let's say that you're working on a number recognition. And so when they get to this sticker right here, for example, you've prepared it so that way there's the number 3. And they have to play their instrument 3 times. Or they have to sing 3 words of their favorite song and other people have to talk about it. You could also do a situation where they roll a dice, they move to 3, and then they pull a card, and the card tells them what their task is. That's really, really up to you. And there's no wrong answer. I find that with my clients with limited game awareness and game knowledge, that keeping things the simpler the better. And so we will do things such as the first example, where they roll a dice, they hit the spot gives them a symbol or a recognition, like we're working on symbol recognition, so there's a symbol of a triangle and the number 4, and they have to figure out that they have to play the triangle 4 times. Again, no wrong way to do it. These are just decisions that are important for you to know about.